Hey, Flo here. And do a repeat hike. Didn't have much time to plan anything, so I just decided to do the same thing I did before. But I wanted to get some Bible readings done get some Bible readings in today. So picked a place that I knew predictably what the signal would be like, so I don't have to guess. So, here we go. I remember somewhere along this journey, the signal kind of broke up a little bit, so I don't remember where that was exactly. I'm surprisingly feeling pretty decent today. I went on a giant hike yesterday, just out of the blue. My favorite area, and I have kind of three favorite areas, but probably my top favorite area in Oregon is the Central Oregon Cascades. I haven't been everywhere in Oregon, so there's probably some other pretty awesome places. But favorite place that I know of is the Central Oregon Cascades. They have like the Three Sisters and Broken Top and Mount Bachelor and all that stuff. And I decided randomly 2 nights ago, day before yesterday, I just thought I'm gonna check, see if there's any permits, because you have to get a wilderness permit there. They have a limited what do you call it, anyway, just a limited number of permits that they issue. You can't just like and go and just show up. It used to be that way. It hasn't been very long, like 5 years ago or less, I don't remember. They oh great, the signal sucks here. Okay, so this is the place. Sucks. Okay, I'll wait to tell me up on this hill, I guess. It broke up, but I guess it was here. Oh, I forgot my walking stick. Oh well. Don't really need it, I just like it. Oh, okay. As fast as I can. I'll start over. Whew, I'm tired. Okay, start the stream till just now. Give me a few minutes to catch my breath. Flo here, out on a hike. Haven't really done much Bible reading this week, so I wanted to get out and do a few readings before the day is over. So that's what I'm planning to do today. I'm doing a repeat hike because I didn't really want to try to figure out a new place to go that had a signal and all that. And while I've kind of switched mentalities to do offline uploading them to YouTube, Rumble, and Odyssey later. Oh, it still sucks. What? Irritating. This is beyond. Okay, so the signal is still breaking. See that it's stable because it's really pointless to tell a story when it's just going to be cutting out every 30 seconds. So let me keep going along here until I find out that it's actually stable. This is irritating because I was here recently to figure this out, but Hunter, it's irritating. I'm in the exact, now I can't really streams because yeah, there's little pockets of good signal, but like I don't know, you take 2 steps, not even joking, less than 2, 1 millimeter on the trail. I don't think that's an exaggeration. 1 picometer on the trail from point to point, you can have 1,000 gigabits to 0. Oh, so frustrating. That last bit was a slight exaggeration. The first one was not. You take 2 steps from one spot having a good signal, 2 steps away, it's terrible or gone entirely. And it doesn't make any sense. So it sort of makes me want to just like stop trying to do these moving about live streams and then just find a fixed position where the signal's good and just do it that way. But I really like doing these, so I'm not going to easily give up on that, but it's pretty frustrating almost every time. Oh, let me see how it's doing now. Okay. Maybe it's better not even to look at the screen. It'll just be irritating to me. But I think the signal has leveled out for the time being, probably as long as I stay kind of on this old logging road, which is sort of close to the ridge line of this little butte. Anyway, I'll try telling my story again, because I tried just a few minutes ago and it was like, I looked at the bit rate, it's like, oh, it's dying every 10 seconds. Yeah, that was annoying. Okay, so I'm feeling surprisingly good today for what happened yesterday. So 2 days ago, night before last, I randomly decided to look up the wilderness permits for Central Oregon Cascades. So that's kind of one of my favorite places to, I like to try to go there once per year at least. I'd go there all the time if I could, but it's kind of expensive for me to drive there. So anyway, I checked 2 nights ago, and to my surprise, I found a trailhead that had 1 permit left. So I was like, oh, should I get it and just go there? It's a totally spontaneous thing. I wasn't planning on it. I just happened to look at the permit website and just changed any plans I might have had according to what I found. And I just decided to go for it. So I bought the permit. It's kind of annoying. I don't know, like 5 years ago, or I don't know how long ago, but probably been longer than that because my sense of time is disappearing from my brain, but maybe 10 years ago. Some years ago, they updated the permit system. It used to be you could go to anywhere pretty much and just show up at the trailhead and just start hiking. Like there'd be the parking lots would be completely jam-packed, especially on the weekends, and there'd be people like parked along the highway and just tons of people, like hundreds. And they instituted this very strict wilderness permit system some years ago for Oregon, Central Oregon stuff. And I think they also do that in the Columbia Gorge. It's pretty annoying because it's really hard to plan hikes on a day that you say you have a vacation day from work or something and you want to go on a hike. Fat chance at that. I mean, it's really difficult to get a permit for the actual day you want. You kind of just have to check it every single day, hundreds of times per day. Just like pushing buttons like, oh, try to get it. And maybe you'll get lucky. And so you can't really like take a day off work to do this. You have to like have a flexible job or a longer span of time, particularly during the weekdays, because you're not going to get it on the weekend. No chance. They're always taken. Weekdays are taken too, but it's easier to get them. Anyway, so since there was one ticket left, it said one left. I was like, okay. Not necessarily it's a sign, but I was like, okay, I gotta try anyway. Because even by the time you submit your shopping cart, that one could be taken if you wait too long. So, decided to go for it. Yeah, of course, as always, I never get sleep. I'm always up all night, so I didn't sleep at all last night or the night before. I tried to, but didn't work. And yeah, so I was very tired, but wasn't as tired as I sometimes am. I had a decent amount of energy for some reason. And then so I drove out to there. I got a terribly late start because I was even like debating, am I even going to go on this hike? Because mainly because of the lack of sleep, I was thinking, oh, I'm going to be so dead. And this is a huge hike. It's like 15 miles, a pretty significant climb. And so I was actually debating in the morning. I was like, okay, I'm just going to keep setting my alarm for an hour later. I originally was just going to get up at 4 a.m., get a really good start on the day. And I was up at that time. I was actually up from the previous night at 4 a.m. So I was like, okay, I'm up in time, but like I haven't slept at all. So that at that point I was just like, okay, I got to get at least a couple hours of sleep. So I just like set my alarm for later and later. I never slept a wink. And that's pretty common for me. I just can't sleep. Especially before hikes. I'm not even thinking about the hike. I'm not like all hyped up or excited or amped or anything. I just can't sleep and I don't know what it is. It's weird. But yeah, so because of all that, like setting my alarm a million times and not wanting to get zero sleep, I got a really late start. And I was even thinking of calling the whole thing off. I was just like, okay, can I really do this? On this short of notice, with no sleep, got things to do, should I really do this? I just decided to go for it, mainly because I've been very, 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 very discouraged the last week or so. Just caught some just discouraging news, and every time I get one of those pieces of news, I'm just like, another thing to deal with. I don't know how to handle life anymore. So anyway, I just decided, you know what, I need to self-preserve. I need to continue fighting for existence. So the main reason I decided to go is like, I know this will be really fun. It'll distract me from my problems. Even though I need to face my problems, I can't. So just decided to go for it. Whoa. And yeah, I'm really glad I did. That was amazing. Yesterday was one of those once in a lifetime kind of experiences. So I've never done this before, but there's this like Jeep like trail or massive four-wheel drive kind of approach to Broken Top that I've never done before. I always knew it was cool, but I was like, can I even get there with my vehicle? But I decided to try it, and that was with the way the wilderness permit system works in Central Oregon is you have to get a permit for a specific trailhead. It's kind of lame. There's not just like a overall wilderness permit. You have to get a permit for every single trailhead, and so it's like there's 25 raffle programs going on at the same time. And raffle's not the right word, but just like drawings, like good luck, 1 in 100 chance you're gonna get this thing, because there's so many people wanting to do the same thing. And that was the one that I saw was open. There was one ticket left, and so I decided to go for it. And it's pretty annoying too, because there's no way for them to control this, but a lot of people just, I don't know if there's like bots or if they're all real people, but those wilderness permits get snatched up really quick. And I don't think it's bots, because you have to actually pay for them. So, I mean, they're pretty cheap, so I guess someone with a little extra money could rig the whole system if they wanted to, but those tickets get taken instantly. And the funny thing is, when you go out on the hike, it's pretty clear that not everybody that got a permit is out there. I think people just snag them because they're cheap, and then they like aren't even intending to go. I think they're frustrated with the system. I think it's sort of a protest in a way. It's like, okay, you want to try to control us and make a garbage system, which it is garbage, by the way. Okay, I'll spend $20 and ruin it for everybody. And maybe they'll get rid of it. That's probably what people do. I don't know. I know that sounds conspiratorial, but they might not be that nefarious or whatever, but what somebody's going to do, they're going to get a ticket for every day on a whole week, because they don't know which day they can take off work. And so they'll just snatch up a bunch of tickets. It's only $1 a ticket, so $7, whoop-de-doo. And then you have a secure section of time to do the hike that you feel like you could probably get a day off or something. And then you also watch the weather. It's like, okay, I don't know what the weather's going to be like. I don't want to buy a ticket and then that day is rained out. So it basically encourages people to do that kind of stuff. And then okay, I gotta stay up here to have a signal. Yeah, so there's a bunch of maybe intentional corruption, and then also just people trying to get their slot for the ticket. Long story short, I was out there yesterday. There was basically nobody on the trail, but all the tickets for all the trailheads were sold out. So what that tells me is people were buying a bunch of tickets just to reserve general time period, and they didn't know which day they were going to go. So signal sucks here. It's generally good, but then it just like dips out for no reason. Okay, so I think I have to stay over on this side if I want to stay connected. Yeah, anyway, that was annoying, but actually it wasn't annoying. I got my ticket, so I don't care. And the thing was annoying is just the fact that realizing that that's what's going on, that people are buying tickets and not even intending to go out. So they take a spot that somebody else really could have used. And so a bunch of people that wanted to go couldn't go, but the people that got the tickets didn't even go. Super annoying. It's kind of like scalping on concert tickets, I guess, except that they don't try to sell, as far as I know, they don't try to sell them for more. But anyway, although they probably could with that. Feels like it should be illegal. All that stuff should be illegal. And you should go to prison for it. I mean, there's some serious punishment for it, because you can't just make something illegal and people follow the law. People don't care about the law. You got to have an actual punishment. You go to jail for a week. It's on your record permanently. Then you'll get rid of all the people that take the risk and just do, unethical stuff. Anyway, but that's not going to ever happen. I'm just going on a rant. I think I'm going to do a Bible reading right here. It's cool looking with this big tree. And I think there's a somewhat stable connection here, at least for the moment. Anyway, so it was actually good in a way because there was nobody out there. Like, I had the whole trail to myself, pretty much. I only saw like maybe 10 people the whole time. And on the mountain itself, there were 2 other people. That's it. 3 people on an entire mountain. That's it. And I can verify that. Like, I know that for a fact. There's only one trail, and I encountered both of the other people. Anyway, that's pretty awesome, but at the same time, it's just lame that people are grabbing up the permits and not using them. They need to figure out a system that is actually better. Like, I think, raise the number of permits available by a factor of 4. I'm not even joking. Times 4, there's still not going to be an overload on the natural resources, because it's still going to happen that people get tickets that they don't intend to use. But at least if you have 4 times, maybe even 10 times, I don't know what the magic number is, but just greatly increase the number of permits issued. Then there will be less stress on the system. People will figure it out. You should even make a public announcement. By the way, hey, don't try to get tickets in advance. There'll be plenty available. Some days it might sell out, but this will help. And so you'll get less people trying that thing. And then there's still going to be very few people out there compared to how it used to be. Anyway, they need to do something to address this issue, because it's pretty annoying. But all that to say, rant aside, I got to go, and it was awesome. It was amazing. Let me put a pause in that little story for a minute. I'll try to continue it, but I want to get my tripod set up here so I don't have to stand here in the sun and get just get this settled here. In fact, I'm just going to put this down for a minute. Yeah, I generally don't get to go to the Sisters area or the Central Oregon Cascades more than like once a year, just because it's because of the permit system and because of it's like, for me, it's expensive to drive there. Most people, no big deal, but like just because of my financial situation, I can't just go on long drives all the time. So it was kind of a once a year kind of thing that I try to do. And yesterday was the day. It's sometimes I get to go more than once. Like if I go with a friend, like sometimes my friend comes for a visit and we end up going together or something like that. But generally, it's not very frequent I get to go. Let me get my chat going here. Hopefully it's working. I did a couple tests before it started. So as far as I know, it should be working. Yeah, just got the one spam comment, I think. Okay. This will take me a few minutes to get set up. I don't have like a magical way to get out of my backpack and have my gear automatically spring to life, and kind of tedious process. Ugh, super tedious at the moment. I have this hook on, I have a carabiner on my backpack strap that allows me to keep the strap of my water bottle away from my neck so it's not rubbing on my neck the whole time I'm hiking. But getting that thing off, oh man, it's annoying. It's really difficult. Solves the problem, creates another one, but it's okay. It's not that big of a deal, just deal with it. Alright. Maybe they make special carabiners that are a little bit less likely to snag on things, but the ones I get, the cheap ones, because I'm not climbing, I'm just using them to attach things, have a stupid little really sharp square notch on the end of them to hold the spring in place or whatever, and literally everything gets caught on those. It's really annoying. Okay. One step closer to freedom. Weird. I don't think there's a place for me to put the camera in the shade. Actually, as soon as I said that, I saw a place. Let me check the angle in the shade. If that looks cool, I'll do that. There's shade over here. It's just not the angle I was planning. Wow, this is a huge tree. I can't even like straddle it. I don't think. Barely. Ugh. Whoops. I don't think the angle over here is going to look cool, so I probably won't want to do it here, but maybe I can make it work. It's definitely not as cool looking. Actually, it looks completely stupid over here. No, that's unacceptable. Okay. Gotta have my camera in the sun, and I'll have to maybe use my little umbrella thing. Hopefully that will help it from overheating. Looks completely idiotic, like unacceptable over there. So let's see, let's find a good angle. Might be able to almost get it in the shade over here too. Compromise a little bit with the interest of angles. That's acceptable. There's almost shade, not quite, but a little bit less direct sunlight over here. All this setup always takes so long. I'd almost rather have like a frame, like not quite as bad as those ancient backpacking frames, like that look like a piece of lawn furniture, but something like that, just a minimal form-fitted shape of your back frame that you just put everything on the outside of your pack in little waterproof bags or something like that. And then you can just modular detach the elements that you want, maybe even just like little gear straps, like for things like my tripod. That would be awesome, because it would still take a long time, honestly, but at least I don't have to wouldn't have to dig through my bag. is, of course, the thing you want. I don't know how this happens, but the one thing that you're looking for is always impossible to find in your bag every time. Uh-oh, am I missing something? I think I'm okay, but I actually brought my chair today. I've been trying to get away from bringing it because there's oftentimes things to sit on. Like I could sit on this log, but there's a pretty good chance there'll be carpenter ants that climb all over me and distract me. So it's nice to have the chair, but it's one more heavy thing to carry. Guess I can show myself for a minute here. Getting set up. Not that it's that interesting, but yeah, so today is not like an epic hike. It's just to get out and do some Bible readings because haven't been doing very many lately. I mean, I've done like one at a time here and there, but like I haven't done a big old chunk of them like I usually do. So I'm feeling a little bit anxious or something about being behind or something. Mainly because it's really good for me to do it. So I feel like I'm missing something. It's crazy. I've talked about this and I think people don't take me seriously. No one's like challenged me on it or anything, but I feel like I've said this before where I am the weakest person. I'm weaker than you are. You're listening. I don't even know who you are. I'm weaker than you are. I can pretty much guarantee it. But most people probably think, oh, just exaggerating. It's really true. Like I feel like if I don't read the Bible every day, and every day is like not enough. I gotta read it like 50% of my waking hours just to survive, just to get through life, because life is so crappy. It's such a horror fest, and that I just have to, just to survive mentally and not just want to like cease to exist. I have to do that. That's what I feel like. That's truly what I feel like. That's how weak I am. Nobody here listening to that will understand what I'm talking about. They'll be like, yeah, oh, I like reading the Bible too, but like, do you have to survive? Like many hours a day? Then I don't think you fully understand. Yeah. So I kind of have to. I have no choice. If I want to survive, I have to. Okay, I forgot what I'm doing here. Because I guess I can go this route. Lately, I've been putting my gimbal on the tripod. And I like that because then I can switch angles and it'll always level out. And I don't have to worry about it losing level. But I think I'm going to actually switch to the spammer. Okay, shouldn't see any more of that person on my screen anyway. They'll be in kick, wasting everybody's time and energy. But shouldn't see him on the screen anymore. Okay, get this transferred to my tripod. scam, spam up. Kick itself. Series of words so that we'd see less of that, because it's just a total waste of everybody's time. But alas, I guess we just have to deal with it, because Kick sucks at moderation. I mean, the worst. It's actually better if they didn't do anything, because the moderation they do actually ruins their own platform. They don't know what they're doing in that regard. Hopefully they'll figure it out though, like, you know, they'll realize how bad their efforts have been and just like, okay, let's start over. We suck. But I love it when people are honest. Like, what they should say is, our development approach has been total trash, 100% unsuccessful. Just bear with us. We're just getting started. We're studying up on cybersecurity and moderation techniques. You know, if anybody out there in the community knows more about this than we do, please let us know, you know. Let's get this thing working as a community. That's what they should do, because they suck at it. Will they? Nah, probably not. But that's what they should do. I don't think I'd be able to help much, mainly because my heart isn't in it. I used to be a developer. Nowadays, I just vibe code. I could probably vibe code it better than they're doing, to be honest. I know that's really embarrassing for them, but I think I could probably just say, hey, Google Gemini, we got this issue on Kick. Got a few key phrases that we need to get rid of. That's basically all. Let's write a little routine here that gets rid of like 90% of the spam on Kick. And I honestly, sad as that is, I think that would work better than what they're doing, because whatever they're doing now doesn't work. Sorry, I'm a little bit spicy today. I don't know why. I don't mean to be mean to any developers, but whatever they're doing, it's not working. And what I'm seeing come through, the pattern of spam that I'm seeing come through would be exceptionally easy. A junior, first day out of their first community college class level programming could fix that, what I'm seeing. It's very, very basic. You got two terms out there, kick fam, stream boo. Ban those two words, it goes away. Obviously they'll, you know, make a new thing that they use, but right now that's all they're using. That's it. That's like 99% of all the spam on Kick. You just ban those two words, it's gone. Whoa, easy. Obviously they need to do better than that, but I'm just being like real about it. That's all they need to do at the moment. And then later they can experiment with their AI. Spam detection and banning stuff. But right now, they don't even need that level of sophistication. They just need ban two words, done. Go home for the day, get a Christmas bonus, problem solved. Okay. And yes, Kick fam is a scourge. Whenever you see it, make fun of it. Don't be rude. You're not dealing with a person, by the way, so you don't have to be rude to a person. You're just dealing with a bot. Spread the word. Kick fam is garbage. It's a joke and a scam, and it should not exist. All right, I'm over it. I'm out of rant mode for a minute. I think I'm good. Anyway, the story is, now that I'm kind of set up here, I went on the hike, and all throughout the hike I was doing reconnaissance, kind of. I was checking for signal and checking for views, I made a ton of notes on my map of potential streaming and or Bible reading locations. So I have a pretty nice map with waypoints showing potential ideas for next time. I was hoping to at least do a couple readings. I guess I kind of underestimated the hike, how long it would take. I thought I'd have plenty of time, even though I got a late start. I just thought, well, because my mindset was, I don't have to do the summit of anything. I just want to be out here, enjoy the beauty, do some Bible readings. But I ended up massively underestimating the hike, and I ran out of time. I probably could have had time, but I decided to help somebody out. There's this girl that was up at the summit of Broken Top, her trying to summit, and it was her first time. She's like an experienced climber, but she'd never been to that location, so she wasn't sure like what route to take and all that. And I'd done it before, so I kind of stayed around and made sure she knew where to go. And then she had driven from way farther away than I had, and it was getting late, and she wasn't even sure she'd make summit, in time, and might have to give up on her day off adventure. She had to take a day off of work to do it. Anyway, so I was like, oh crap, man, I gotta make sure that doesn't happen. So I offered her a ride, because my trailhead, at least I think, was easier to get to and closer than where she started, and she had a long way to go. She decided to head back to where she started, and so whether I helped her or not, I offered, and she decided to go with me. So the thing that made it awesome is I had a hiking partner for the day, or at least for the second half of the journey, which is rare. I have one friend in the world right now that likes to hike. Well, one friend that lives close enough to me that we can hike together. I have other friends that like to hike that live in other countries. But anyway, so yeah, I don't get to hike with people anymore. I do it, like all of my hikes are solo, like 95% of them. And so it was cool just to have somebody to hang out with, chit chat. No, total stranger, obviously, but we had a lot in common, so we had a good conversations. It was fun. And so yeah, that was my day yesterday. Unfortunately, because of the circumstances, I wasn't able to do any live streams. But I did mark out all the spots, so if I go there again someday, I should have all the information I need to do some Bible readings up there. I was hoping to do at least one, so I was a little bit disappointed, and that's actually kind of the reason I'm out today, because I was like, I didn't even do a single Bible reading during that whole grand. Okay, I didn't notice that bush there. That kind of makes it look stupid. I guess yeah, so I'm out today to make up what I missed yesterday, but my reason that I missed out, like, I'm not disappointed at all, because I got someone's company, and them, honestly, it's one of those 24, or what is it? The 6 of one, half dozen of the other. I think that's how it goes. Anyway, it was like, did I really I helped her get up to the summit because she didn't see the route, and maybe she would have figured it out eventually, but as far as like helping her get to her car faster, I don't know. It's debatable. But the cool thing is, the thing I feel slightly justified is I gave her the opportunity to have a point-to-point hike, which is kind of one of those unicorn rare opportunities. Like, in all my years of hiking, have I ever done that? I don't know if I've ever done a point-to-point, like, ever. Because what it requires is 2 cars or some kind of shuttle service. So you like start in one spot and then you go out somewhere and that's the end of your hike. So you can't just hike back if it's like 20 miles or something. So you got to have a ride on the other end. And so that's a pretty rare opportunity. And I'm not like the kind of guy that asks for rides from strangers all the time. So I don't think I've ever done that. Maybe once or twice. Maybe my friend and I had 2 cars and we did something like that, but I don't even think I've done that ever. I don't think it's ever happened. So that was fun for her. I mean, it was cool to give her that experience. Yeah, I guess this is fine. I need to get my other phone set up. All this gear stuff is just a pain. So I kind of want to do more than one reading today, and just all this like fiddling with garbage gear in between Bible readings, it really limits what I can do, because it feels like it takes like a half hour just to get my tripod set up and all my cords and phones and everything configured properly. At least this time I had a story to share. Okay. Yeah, so I summited Broken Top yesterday, which I wasn't sure if I was going to, because I've done it before and it requires a little bit of semi-technical climbing. There's people, you'll hear two versions of the story about Broken Top. Mine is the correct one, and I'm not saying that out of pride. It's just, I know more than some people, I guess. Because some people will actually say, you can't do Broken Top without ropes and harness and all that stuff. Which I've never done roping up. I don't even know how. I've never even taken a class on climbing. I don't have a clue, other than the fact that I've watched a bunch of YouTube videos, but I watch them and I forget like 5 minutes later what all that I watched. So I don't know anything about climbing. Never once gone to a rock climbing gym. I'm not exaggerating. I don't know anything. I've never done rock climbing at all. But I have summited Broken Top twice now. And there's this route that's fairly reliable. Obviously, use your own judgment and don't take some person online's advice. But there is a route that just requires some, class 3 or 4 or whatever. Just, I don't even know the terms. I think class 3 is considered scrambling, and I don't even know what the numbering systems are. But anyway, it's fairly vertical, but there's like almost like giant, imagine like Mickey and the Beanstalk, or Jack and the Beanstalk, whatever that story is, like climbing up these giant stairs, that you kind of have to climb, but it's doable. That's pretty much what you have to do to get up there. It's definitely not something you have to rope up for. The main danger is there's like gravel like this. There's like slopes that are maybe like this or something on each of the layers of stuff, and it's covered with sand and gravel. So if you don't have good footing or holding on with your hands and stuff, you could slip, and that could be quite dangerous. So that's why I say don't just hear what somebody online says and just think, oh cool, I can do it. You got to know your own comfort zone. But that kind of stuff, it's a little sketchy for me, but I feel like I can do it pretty confidently. So anyway, and once I showed her that route, she was like, oh yeah, this is way easier. And she was trying to do the official rock climbing route, which if you don't have ropes, that is super dangerous, because there's like this crack that, I guess if you're good at climbing cracks, it would be easy, I guess. For me, it's one-way trip to death. Like if I tried to climb that way, dead, guaranteed. Like I would 100% die. There's no chance that I would go that way. If that was the only route up Broken Top, I would never summit Broken Top unless I was with a team of rock climbers that knew how to deal with a noob. And they're like, don't worry about it. We got you. We'll put you in an elevator system. And you just sit there. Basically, yeah. But there's this other secret way. And I think it's becoming more known because somebody told me about it. When you read online about Broken Top, you'll pretty much just hear about the climbing route that requires ropes and stuff, or serious climbing experience. Maybe now that you'll read more about the other route, it's maybe word is getting out, but one of the times I was up there, I think there was two people up there together that just pointed it out to me, and I was like, whoa, that's amazing. I don't know that I would have found that, or that I would have trusted. It's kind of a blind route too. You can't see what's up above. You can see where you have to go initially, but you have no idea what comes next. So you have to trust other people's advice or experience in order to be confident to give it a try. But it's definitely, if I ever talk to people about going to Broken Top, that's what I would share from my experience. I've gone that route twice, and I have no climbing experience, and I feel pretty confident to do it. It does feel a little bit sketchy, but it's not that bad. I've done worse. Okay. Let's see. I don't even know what the reading is for today. I have to look up my channel and figure it out. Got a nice gash on my hands though. The reason it's sketchy is not because of the skills required to get up there. It's because of the condition of the rocks. Everything in the Central Oregon Cascades is composed of, I don't know, there's probably a term for it, but it's garbage lava rock that just crumbles in your hands. Like you could just grab a stone and just like right out of the side of the mountain. Especially North Sister. I don't know if I'll ever do that one. It's extremely dangerous. Not from, some experienced climbers will be like, bah, it's easy. But for me, a person like me, it's extremely dangerous. You should not do North Sister unless you're with a team of very experienced climbers that have ropes and helmets and all that stuff. Anyway, that's what makes the Broken Top dangerous. Also, you have to really know how to find good hand grips and test them out. Try to wiggle them around so they don't just break in your hand. But yeah. So there was this one time where I lost my grip and I was like panicking because I was sort of teetering a little bit. And my hand flew off because I was pushing on something like this to, get a certain angle or leverage. And I don't remember if the rock broke in my hand or my hand just like slipped off the hold or something. But my hand was literally, because I was pushing this way, my hand flew out like this. I was like, oh crap. I'm like sort of jiggling a little bit. And so I like quickly threw my hand back up to try to grab another hold, and because I was in such a quick mode of doing that, this is all like a fraction of a second. It was like I literally blasted my hand on a rock, and probably can't see it from there, but I got a couple pretty nice gouges in my fingers. So yeah, there's definite risks and danger involved, but that could have been easily avoided just taking a little bit more time, and I didn't have any gloves on, so that's the main reason I got a nice scratch on my hand. But okay. I really wish I had a few Bible readings that I did up there to be like a memento or proof that that even happened or whatever. But I got some pictures, and I did one short, like while I stayed down with the bags when that girl was following the route that I showed her, and I gave her, I just said, take your time up at the summit, and I'll be waiting here to see if you want a ride back or whatever. And so during that few minutes that I had, I did a short, like just a 45 second or 1 minute short that I'll upload to my YouTube at some point. But that's all I got from being up there. Hate all these stupid warnings that show up on my phone. It's an old phone, and it's like, you gotta sign into this, gotta sign into that. It's like, nope, I really don't. Okay. It's literally not going away. Infinite warning of uselessness. Yeah, so I'm seeing that stupid kick fam thing. You can't necessarily ban the word kick fam. First of all, they'll just find out that happened and create some new stupid Discord server. But you could probably ban kick fam space Discord safely. Because if anybody's... there's probably people that would try to talk about that. Like, you see that stupid kick fam Discord scam, like they might type that in chat and that message would get deleted, but that's a small price to pay for basic moderation that would solve an annoying problem. But anyway, Discord space.gg/kickfam. All you have to do is search for Discord star kickfam. Done. This stuff is like, just do a simple regular expression, like solve the problem already. It's like, come on. Of course, in that case, it would be discord.star?kickfam. Delete. Very easy. Of course, they get around it, but still, they're not even doing the bare minimum to try to get rid of that trash. Okay. Let's figure out where I'm at. I don't even know what the last reading that I did was. Okay, good. I think I marked it off on my reading. So I think, we got a long one today. Okay, well, I might only do one reading today, but that's fine. I don't care. I just wanted to get out. This is a long one, so I might have time for another one, but this one's long. There is something wrong with my program here. I think it's in the data. There's something missing in my logic in the data I need to review. I thought I had this all worked out, but certain passages it doesn't like. I don't know what the pattern is. It doesn't like 1 Samuel, that's for sure. It's not letting me select chapters from 1 Samuel, and it could just be because it starts with a 1 instead of a letter, but like it isn't just that, because I've had it works sometimes, like on certain chapters. It's just really weird. I think if I list them out individually, it works. So a little bit hypocritical because my own code has a regex error, but the thing is, it's not even my code. I just vibe coded it with Google Gemini or something, so it's really technically a Gemini error, but I just didn't notice it, didn't test every scenario thoroughly. Okay, what is the passage again? 16 to 20, okay. Yeah, that seems to work if I load them individually for some reason. It's so weird. This is crazy to me. There's certain chapters it doesn't like. I don't know which one it is in this case. Maybe there's a max number of chapters hard-coded in there. This stuff annoys me because it wastes a bunch of time. I really thought I had all these ironed out. I've had many revisions of this script, and I thought I got all this figured out, but I guess there's still a couple minor bugs in it. Okay, I'm seeing the pattern here. I should be able to vibe code my way out of this when I get home. So for some reason, the scenario of 1 space SA space any chapter through any chapter, doesn't matter what the numbers are. Well, maybe not. I think this might be the pattern. I think the last chapter in that red regular expression messes it up. But it seems to only be 1 Samuel. I don't know. Maybe I'll tell Gemini what I'm seeing happening. And surprisingly, it almost always figures out what the problem is, and it'll be, oh yeah, that doesn't work, and it'll come up with a fix. The problem is sometimes the fixes it comes up with break something else, and that's been the reason that this has taken longer to figure out, is because it tends to have a domino effect of like fixing one thing and breaking something else. Thought I finally got it, but I guess there's still some little problems. Okay. Yeah, so really, in an ideal world, what this should be showing is, it's kind of hard. Like I'm somewhat familiar. I'm familiar with regular expressions, but not like incredibly advanced ones. I think there's probably better ways to parse the text in certain situations than using a regular expression, but Gemini decided to use the regular expression. I was kind of surprised. Thought, really? You're going to write a Bible passage parsing logic just with like one regular expression or something? That sounds a little bit not sensible, but anyway, it worked pretty good. But There's a few holes in it. Anyway, what that should really say is 1 Samuel 16-19. That's how it's supposed to work, but it's still is quite readable, so it's acceptable. It's acceptable. But for some reason, chapter 20, I can't get it to work, so something magical about the number 20 that the regular expression doesn't like. I'll try one more time. Some major creature activity going on up here. Yeah, it really doesn't like 1 Samuel chapter 20. It had that same issue with 1 Samuel chapter 14, and I don't know what the deal is. It's fine with all the others, but I don't know what that means. It's so weird. Okay, so I might be able to figure out how to get this hack-it to... Oh, I wonder if I just spell the whole thing out. Is that any different? I think I tried that last time too, and it didn't work. 1 Samuel 20. Nope, it literally refuses to let me put that chapter in. There's a slight chance that my Bible database is missing some chapters of the Bible, and therefore it's not an issue with the script but the data. It seems really weird that I would be missing 1 Samuel chapter 14 and chapter 20 and not anything in between there, but I need to look into that because that is slightly possible. Or the cross-reference tables linking the various abbreviated things, whatever, might be missing a couple rows or something. It's definitely possible. Seems more likely that it's a data issue than a script issue, because why on earth would it be arbitrarily skipping certain chapters? Actually, I want to do a quick test, because maybe if I get rid of all the other chapters temporarily, I can just show 1 Samuel chapter 20 by itself. Just curious. First Samuel, perfectly capitalized. Oops, first Damuel. Nope, that's not gonna work. 1 Samuel 20. Yeah, so that worked. So my guess, is, based on what I'm seeing, is that the abbreviation linking table of whateverness, can't even remember my own table structure. It's probably missing 2 chapters, or has a typo or something. Hey, Daremouth, how's it going? That would be my guess. So I'll have to. I've already experienced this, so I know of this error, but I keep forgetting to look because I don't like coding stuff anymore. So I kind of just go home and zone out and do something else. I don't want to just fix bugs on code. All right, so what I'll do is, so today's reading is going to be 1 Samuel chapter 16 through 20, Psalms 11 and 59, and Acts chapter 10. So it's a pretty long reading. Might be the only one I have time to do today. So I'm reading through the Bible this year, trying to do it all, well, not trying. I'm reading all of it in nature, out on the trail or whatever, finding cool locations and stuff. And so that's kind of my project I'm working on this year. I tried it last year, but last year I wasn't doing it outside. I was just doing it at home. And I made it like, I don't know, over halfway through. But and right now I'm resetting and starting over, and I think I'm about a third of the way through. But I've got a long way to go. Going well, good sir. How are you? I'm doing quite well. I went on an awesome hike yesterday, so I'm still reeling. Is that the right word? I'm still basking in the joy of that experience. But I went to like one of the most beautiful locations in Oregon. So I was really excited about being able to do some Bible readings up there, because they would be the best ones in the series for sure. But because I didn't plan well and didn't have enough time, and then I helped this girl on the trail, I lost the opportunity to do that. So because of that, I was like, today I wasn't really planning to go hiking again today, because I just did that yesterday. But I'm like, I didn't do any Bible readings. So I wanted to get out at least to do something. So yeah, but it was an awesome hike. It's like one of those, I don't know, it's really hard to come up with ranking systems, but that's got to be one of my top life experiences in hiking. Easily in the top 10, top 5 probably. And we're talking, I've gone on, at least 1,200 hikes in my life, and probably, more than that, but that's how many I have in my kind of recent record when I started using GPS and recording tracks and stuff. And out of all those, yeah, I'd say top 5 was yesterday. It was quite nice. It's a hike I've done actually 2 other times, but just, the experience of it. I went in a different route that I haven't been, so it was new. I hadn't done quite that route, so yeah, it was awesome. Understandable. Off to spread the love to others. Be well, Flo. Well, thanks, dude. Appreciate that very much. Thanks for dropping by. Alrighty, let's do this reading. Nice cold water. I didn't drink enough water yesterday, so I'm a little bit dehydrated. Whew. Oh, I didn't even, yeah. Good thing I thought of that. My brain is not functioning. I don't have the scriptures showing. My chat is showing on screen, so I need to fix that before I get started. Brain dead. I have so few interactions with other humans. I always say stupid stuff too. Like, it's invariable that I don't say things like foot in my mouth. Like, I'm pretty controlled about not just saying offensive or idiotic things for the most part, but I often say things that make me realize I just said something that made me sound like a complete idiot. Oh, well. That happens every time I, hang out with somebody, or if it's a friend or family, it doesn't matter, because, I can just explain to them, oh, that was dumb, or they don't even care. But a stranger, it's like every time. I always say the wrong thing. Okay. Seriously, I'm kind of stupid. Didn't actually check how this looks. Okay, that's fine. It's big, but okay, it's working. always want to test this every single stream, because be horrified if I go on these giant adventures. I mean, today isn't a giant adventure, but it's still a giant effort. Like, I took all this time, I went outside, set up all this gear, brought it with me, hiked to a place, thought everything was working if I don't check, and then later I find out, oh, the on-screen slides weren't working. I'm like, no! I feel like the one time that I don't check is the one time it will not work. And in this case, had I not remembered, it wouldn't have worked at all. I wonder if it's Daramuth. I'm guessing that's probably a another language with the E on there. So I'm sure I mispronounced your name, but you're not here anymore, so. I know you've come by before. It's just you've been gracious and haven't corrected my pronunciation yet, so. Okay. 1 Samuel chapter 16. Now, see? I don't know if this is a God thing or I just get lucky, but as soon as I started talking, I'm like, I forgot to start the local recording. Okay, let's start over. I forget so many things. I need to wear if I ever got a tattoo, which I'm not a tattoo person, but I would have a list of, a checklist of stream steps to do. Don't forget these. And I'm just oh, yeah, gotta do that. Problem is, as my technology and setup change, I would have to change what those steps are. So I'd have to get my tattoo laser removed, or I'd have to cross things out with a new tattoo and put new steps in there. It'd be kind of a mess. First Samuel chapter 16. Now the Lord said to Samuel, "How long are you going to mourn for Saul, since I have rejected him as king over Israel? Fill your horn with oil and go. I am sending you to Jesse of Bethlehem, for I have selected from his sons a king for myself." "How can I go?" Samuel asked. "Saul will hear of it and kill me." The Lord answered, "Take a heifer with you and say, 'I have come to sacrifice to the Lord.' Then invite Jesse to the sacrifice, and I will show you what you are to do. You are to anoint for me the one I indicate." So Samuel did what the Lord had said and went to Bethlehem. When the elders of the town met him, they trembled and asked, "Do you come in peace?" "In peace," he replied. "I have come to sacrifice to the Lord. Consecrate yourselves and come with me to the sacrifice." Then he consecrated Jesse and his sons and invited them to the sacrifice. When they arrived, Samuel saw Eliab and said, "Surely here before the Lord is his anointed." When they arrived, Samuel saw Eliab and said, "Surely here before the Lord is his anointed." But the Lord said to Samuel, "Do not consider his appearance or height, for I have rejected him. The Lord does not see as man does, for man sees the outward appearance, but the Lord sees the heart." Then Jesse called Abinadab and presented him to Samuel, who said, "The Lord has not chosen this one either." Next Jesse presented Shammah, but Samuel said, "The Lord has not chosen this one either. The Lord has not chosen this one either." Thus Jesse made 7 of his sons pass before Samuel, but Samuel told him, "The Lord has not chosen any of these." And Samuel asked him, "Are these all the sons you have?" "There is still the youngest," Jesse replied, "but he is tending the sheep." "Send for him," Samuel replied, "for we will not sit down to eat until he arrives." So Jesse sent for his youngest son and brought him in. He was ruddy, with beautiful eyes and a handsome appearance. And the Lord said, "Rise and anoint him, for he is the one." So Samuel took the horn of oil and anointed him in the presence of his brothers, and the Spirit of the Lord rushed upon David from that day forward. Then Samuel set out and went to Ramah. After the Spirit of the Lord had departed from Saul, a spirit of distress from the Lord began to torment him. Saul's servants said to him, "Surely a spirit of distress from God is tormenting you. Let our Lord command your servants here to seek out someone who can skillfully play the harp. Whenever the spirit of distress from God is upon you, he is to play it, and you will be well." And Saul commanded his servants, "Find me someone who plays well and bring him to me." One of the servants answered, "I have seen a son of Jesse of Bethlehem who knows how to play the harp. He is a mighty man of valor, a warrior, eloquent and handsome, and the Lord is with him." So Saul sent messengers to Jesse and said, "Send me your son David, who is with the sheep." And Jesse took a donkey loaded with bread, a skin of wine, and 1 young goat, and sent them to Saul with his son David. When David came to Saul and entered his service, Saul admired him greatly, and David became his armor-bearer. Then Saul sent word to Jesse, saying, "Let David remain in my service, for I am pleased with him." And whenever the Spirit from God came upon Saul, David would pick up his harp and play, and Saul would become well, and the spirit of distress would depart from him. First Samuel chapter 17. Now the Philistines gathered their forces for war at Socoh in Judah, and they camped between Socoh and Azekah and Ephes Dammim. Saul and the men of Israel assembled and camped in the valley of Elah, arraying themselves for battle against the Philistines. The Philistines stood on one hill, and the Israelites stood on another, with the valley between them. Then a champion named Goliath, who was from Gath, came out from the Philistine camp. He was 6 cubits and a span in height, and he had a bronze helmet on his head. He wore a bronze coat of mail weighing 5,000 shekels, and he had an armor of bronze on his legs, and a javelin of bronze slung between his shoulders. The shaft of his spear was like a weaver's beam, and its iron point weighed 600 shekels. In addition, his shield-bearer went before him, and Goliath stood and shouted to the ranks of Israel, "Why do you come out and array yourselves for battle? Am I not a Philistine, and are you not servants of Saul? Choose one of your men and have him come down against me. If he is able to fight me and kill me, but if I prevail against him and kill him, he shall be our servants and labor for us." Then the Philistine said, "I defy the ranks of Israel this day. Give me a man to fight." On hearing the words of the Philistine, Saul and all the Israelites were dismayed and greatly afraid. Now David was the son of a man named Jesse, an Ephrathite from Bethlehem of Judah, who had 8 sons in the days of Saul. And Jesse was old and well along in years. The 3 older sons of Jesse had followed Saul into battle. The firstborn was Eliab, the second was Abinadab, and the third was Shammah. and David was the youngest. The 3 oldest had followed Saul, but David went back and forth from Saul to tend his father's sheep in Bethlehem. For 40 days the Philistine came forward every morning and evening to take his stand. One day Jesse said to his son David, "Take this ephah of roasted grain and these 10 loaves of bread for your brothers and hurry to their camp. Take also these 10 portions of cheese to the commander of their unit. Check on the welfare of your brothers and bring back an assurance from them." They are with Saul and all the men of Israel in the valley of Elah fighting against the Philistines. So David got up early in the morning, left the flock with the keeper, loaded up, and set out as Jesse had instructed him. He reached the camp as the army was marching out to its position and shouted the battle cry. And Israel and the Philistines arrayed in formation against each other. Then David left his supplies in the care of the quartermaster and ran to the battle line. When he arrived, he asked his brothers how they were doing. And as he was speaking with them, suddenly the champion named Goliath, the Philistine from Gath, came forward from the Philistines and shouted his usual words, which David also heard. When all the men of Israel saw Goliath, they fled from him in great fear. Now the men of Israel had been saying, "Do you see this man who keeps coming out to defy Israel? To the man who kills him, the king will give great riches, and he will give him his daughter in marriage and exempt his father's house from taxation in Israel." David asked the men who were standing with him, "What will be done for the man who kills this Philistine and removes this disgrace from Israel? Just who is this uncircumcised Philistine, that he should defy the armies of the living God?" The people told him about the offer, saying, "This is what will be done for the man who kills him." Now when David's oldest brother Eliab heard him speaking to the men, his anger burned against David. "Why have you come down here?" he asked, "and with whom did you leave those few sheep in the wilderness? I know your pride and wickedness of heart. You have come down to see the battle." "What have I done now?" said David. "Was it not just a question?" Then he turned from him toward another and asked about the offer, and those people answered him just as the first ones had answered. Now David's words were overheard and reported to Saul, who called for him. And David said to Saul, "Let no man's heart fail on account of this Philistine. Your servant will go and fight him." But Saul replied, "You cannot go out against this Philistine to fight him. You are just a boy, and he has been a warrior from his youth." David replied, "Your servant has been tending his father's sheep, and whenever a lion or a bear came and carried off a lamb from the flock, I went after it, struck it down, and delivered the lamb from its mouth. If it reared up against me, I would grab it by its fur, strike it down, and kill it. Your servant has killed lions and bears. This uncircumcised Philistine will be like one of them, for he has defied the armies of the living God." David added, "The Lord, who delivered me from the claws of the lion and the bear, will deliver me from the hand of this Philistine." "Go," said Saul, "and may the Lord be with you." Then Saul clothed David in his own tunic, put a bronze helmet on his head, and dressed him in armor. David strapped his sword over the tunic and tried to walk, but he was not accustomed to them. "I cannot walk in these," David said to Saul. "I am not accustomed to them." So David took them off. And David took his staff in his hand, selected five smooth stones from the brook, and put them in the pouch of his shepherd's bag. And with his sling in hand he approached the Philistine. Now the Philistine came closer and closer to David, with his shield-bearer before him. When the Philistine looked and saw David, he despised him because he was just a boy, ruddy and handsome. When the Philistine looked and saw David, he despised him because he was just a boy, ruddy and handsome. "Am I a dog," he said to David, "that you come at me with sticks?" And the Philistine cursed David by his gods. "Come here," he said to David, "and I will give your flesh to the birds of the air and the beasts of the field." But David said to the Philistine, "You come against me with sword and spear and javelin, but I come against you in the name of the Lord of hosts, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied. This day the Lord will deliver you into my hand. This day I will strike you down, cut off your head, and give the carcasses of the Philistines to the birds of the air and the creatures of the earth. Then the whole world will know that there is a God in Israel. And all those assembled here will know that this is not by sword or spear that this and all those assembled here will know that I can't talk anymore. And all those assembled here will know that it is not by sword or spear that the Lord saves, for the battle is the Lord's, and he will give all of you into our hands." As the Philistines started forward to attack him, David ran quickly toward the battle line to meet him. Then David reached into his bag, took out a stone, and slung it, striking the Philistine on the forehead. The stone sank into his forehead, and he fell face down on the ground. Thus David prevailed over the Philistine with a sling and a stone. Without a sword in his hand, he struck down the Philistine and killed him. David ran and stood over him. He grabbed the Philistine's sword and pulled it from its sheath and killed him, and he cut off his head with the sword. When the Philistines saw that their hero was dead, they turned and ran. Then the men of Israel and Judah charged forward with a shout and pursued the Philistines to the and the strewn along the Sharaim. And the bodies of the Philistines were strewn along the Sharim road and to Gath and Ekron. When the Israelites returned from their pursuit of the Philistines, they plundered their camps. David took the head of the Philistine and brought it to Jerusalem, and he put Goliath's weapons in his own tent. As Saul had watched David going out to confront the Philistine, he said to Abner, the commander of the army, "Abner, whose son is this young man?" "As surely as you live, O king," Abner replied, "I do not know." "Find out whose son this young man is," said the "Find out whose son this young man is," said the What? "Find out whose son this young man is," said the king. So when David returned from killing the Philistine, still holding his head in his hand, Abner took him and brought him before Saul. "Whose son are you, young man?" asked Saul. "I am the son of your servant Jesse of Bethlehem," David replied. Whew, that was a long chapter. Sorry, I saw your star donation thing, Comtech. I don't know if you're still here, but thanks for that. I read a chapter at a time so I can get through them. That was a really long one. I never understand, I don't know why Saul didn't remember David, because unless the timeline is a little bit shifty, David had already served Saul as like the guy that played the harp and calmed him, so should have been very familiar with David. He even was pleased. He's like very pleased with David and sent word to his father Jesse, like, have him come into my service. I am very pleased with him. So he totally should have known who David was and Jesse and stuff, but it's possible that he was so, it's like it was so out of context. He's like, that guy looks familiar, but, he just killed this giant, so I'm not really sure who he is. Maybe it's something like that. He's probably wearing different clothes or looked different because he was in a different context or something. But I always think it's weird that he had to ask his commander, his battle army commander, like, who is this guy? Who's his father? It's like, yeah. So there was probably something about his appearance that kind of threw everybody off. Otherwise, he should have obviously recognized him. But anyway, it doesn't give that detail in the story why he didn't recognize him. So whenever I read that, I always think, like, what? He's the dude that's like in your temple. In your courts, palace courts, every day playing the harp for you, that guy that you like a lot, he's that one. But apparently he didn't connect the dots. Or it's possible that Saul suffered from some kind of just, I don't know what to call it, what we would call these days a mental illness, where he just or just some brain dysfunction where he is either really forgetful or just kind of not all there, because he did suffer from this, as it calls, the tormenting spirit from the Lord or whatever. So it's possible he had some big issues in his brain, or he could have also been like narcissist or something, like he just only really cares about his own affairs. So, which I think is probably pretty common for kings, it's like any celebrity or king or somebody that just thinks quite highly of themselves and is surrounded by people who boost them up. They probably take little notice to servants and people of little importance around them and just think that everyone exists to serve them, and they have no peers, equals in their own minds. It could have been something like that. I don't know. But yeah. All right, let's keep going. It could have also, there's so many explanations. It could have been a number of years between the time that David was first brought into service of Saul, and maybe after all that time, they weren't really personally connected that much, and so he just kind of forgot who his father was. There's 100 different literary or social interpersonal theories you come up with. Yeah, this is super long reading. I think it's because I'm not really sure, but I think maybe I don't even know if this is a Sunday. This is probably a stupid theory, but I've wondered if maybe on Sundays they give longer readings because they know that people that most Christians or whatever might not work on Sunday or whatever, so they think, they're probably going to church and have a day off, so they have more time to read. But I don't even know if this is a Sunday reading, to be honest, so that might not be the case. But I've noticed some of the readings are proportionally larger than the others, so it might just be coincidence the way that the stories break up. I think this is, I will probably only have time for one reading today, maybe two, but. 1 Samuel chapter 18. After David had finished speaking with Saul, the souls of Jonathan and David were knit together, and Jonathan loved him as himself. And from that day Saul kept David with him, and did not let him return to his father's house. Then Jonathan made a covenant with David, because he loved him as himself. And Jonathan removed the robe he was wearing, and gave it to David, along with his tunic, his sword, his bow, and his belt. So David marched out and prospered in everything Saul sent him to do, and Saul set him over the men of war. And this was pleasing in the sight of all the people, and of Saul's officers as well. As the troops were returning home after David had killed the Philistine, the women came out of all the cities of Israel to meet King Saul with singing and dancing, with joyful songs, and with tambourines and other instruments. And as the women danced, they sang out, "Saul has slain his thousands, and David his tens of thousands." And Saul was furious and resented this song. "They have ascribed tens of thousands to David," he said, "but only thousands to me. What more can he have but the kingdom?" And from that day forward, Saul kept a jealous eye on David. The next day a spirit of distress sent from God came upon Saul, and he prophesied The next day a spirit of distress sent from God came upon Saul, and he prophesied inside the house while David played the harp as usual. Now Saul was holding a spear, and he hurled it, thinking, I will pin David to the wall. But David eluded him twice. So Saul was afraid of David, because the Lord was with David, but he had departed from Saul. Therefore Saul sent David away and gave him command of 1,000 men. David led the troops out to battle and back, and he continued to prosper in all his ways, because the Lord was with him. When Saul saw that David was very successful, he was afraid of him. But all Israel and Judah loved David because he was leading them out to battle and back. Then Saul said to David, Here is my older daughter, Merab. I will give her to you in marriage. Only be valiant for me and fight the Lord's battles. But Saul was thinking, I need not raise my hand against him. Let the hand of the Philistines be against him. And David said to Saul, Who am I, and what is my family or my father's clan in Israel, that I should become the son-in-law of the king? So when it was time to give Saul's daughter Merab to David, she was given in marriage to Adriel of Meholah. So Saul's daughter Michal loved David. Now Saul's daughter Michal loved David, and when this was reported to Saul, it pleased him. I will give her to David, Saul thought, so that she may be a snare to him, and the hand of the Philistines may be against him. So Saul said to David, For a second time now you can be my son-in-law. Then Saul ordered his servants, Speak to David privately and tell him, Behold, the king is pleased with you, and all his servants love you. Now therefore become his son-in-law. But when Saul's servants relayed these words to David, he replied, Does it seem trivial in your sight to be the son-in-law of the king? I am a poor man and lightly esteemed. And the servants told Saul what David had said. Saul replied, Say to David, The king desires no other dowry but 100 Philistine foreskins as revenge on his enemies. But Saul intended to cause David's death at the hand of the Philistines. When the servants reported these terms to David, he was pleased to become the king's son-in-law. Before the wedding day arrived, David and his men went out and killed 200 Philistines. He brought their foreskins and presented them as payment in full to become the king's son-in-law. Then Saul gave his daughter Michal to David in marriage. When Saul realized that the Lord was with David and that his daughter Michal loved David, he grew even more afraid of David. So from then on, Saul was David's enemy. Every time the Philistine commanders came out for battle, David was more successful than all of Saul's officers, so that his name was highly esteemed. Now we got full shade. So I don't think I have to worry about my phone overheating, but it won't look as cool, obviously, but that's all right. First Samuel chapter 19. Then Saul ordered his son Jonathan and all his servants to kill David. But Jonathan delighted greatly in David, so he warned David, saying, My father Saul intends to kill you. Be on your guard in the morning. Find a secret place and hide there. I will go out and stand beside my father in the field where you are, so I can ask about you. And if I find out anything, I will tell you. Then Jonathan spoke well of David to his father Saul and said to him, The king should not sin against his servant David. He has not sinned against you. In fact, his actions have been highly beneficial to you. He took his life in his hands when he struck down the Philistine, and the Lord worked a great salvation for all Israel. You saw it and rejoiced. So why would you sin against innocent blood by killing David for no reason?" Saul listened to the voice of Jonathan and swore an oath, "As surely as the Lord lives, David will not be put to death." So Jonathan summoned David and told him all these things. Then Jonathan brought David to Saul to serve him as he had before. When war broke out again, David went out and fought the Philistines and struck them with such a mighty blow that they fled before him. But as Saul was sitting in his house with a spear in his hand, a spirit of distress from the Lord came upon him. While David was playing the harp, Saul tried to pin him to the wall with his spear. But the spear struck the wall, and David eluded him, ran away, and escaped that night. Then Saul sent messengers to David's house to watch him and kill him in the morning. But David's wife, Michal, warned him, "If you do not run for your life tonight, tomorrow you will be dead." So Michal lowered David from the window, and he ran away and escaped. Then Michal took a household idol and laid it in the bed, placed some goat hair on its head, and covered it with a garment. When Saul sent the messengers to seize David, Michal said, "He is ill." But Saul sent the messengers back to see David and told them, "Bring him up to me in his bed so I can kill him." And when the messengers entered, there was the idol in the bed with the guilt. And when the messengers entered, I can't say this verse. I don't know. I feel like the Bible is full of tongue twisters. I think it's just me, though. I'm just bad at reading, but I have a hard time with this. And when the messengers entered, there was the idol in the bed with the quilt of goat's hair on its head. And Saul said to Michal, "Why did you deceive me like this? You sent my enemy away, and he has escaped." Michal replied, "He said to me, 'Help me get away, or I will kill you.' So David ran away and escaped. And he went to Samuel at Ramah and told him all that Saul had done to him. Then he and Samuel went to Naioth and stayed there. When Saul was told that David was at Naioth in Ramah, he sent messengers to capture him. But when they saw the group of prophets prophesying, with Samuel leading them, the Spirit of God came upon them, and Saul's messengers also began to prophesy. When this was reported to Saul, he sent more messengers, but they began to prophesy as well. So Saul tried again and sent messengers a third time, and even they began to prophesy. Finally, Saul himself left for Ramah and came to the large cistern at Siku. Where he asked, "Where are Samuel and David?" "At Naioth and Ramah," he was told. So Saul went to Naioth and Ramah, but the Spirit of God came upon even Saul, and he walked along prophesying until he came to Naioth and Ramah. Then Saul stripped off his robes and also prophesied before Samuel, and he collapsed and lay naked all that day and night. This is why it is said, "Is Saul also among the prophets?" Oh, I guess since the sun is down, I can take this off, which is a rare opportunity. And of course, as soon as I say that, the sun's like in my face. I'm really dry from not drinking enough yesterday. Alright, so now I need to do the little trick to get 1 Samuel chapter 19 in there because it's not working. I mean, 1 Samuel chapter 20 is what I meant to say. So weird. So like if I put 1 Samuel 20 by itself, I can load it in, even with the abbreviation. So I just put 1 space SA space 20 and it pulls in. But for some reason, 1 SA 16-20, it leaves out 20. Like it actually has an error if there's the number 20 in there. Very strange. I don't know. I'll have to figure that out. Thankfully there's a way around it most of the time, but it's kind of a pain. These are long chapters and there's lots of them. I'm really surprised it loaded up this day's reading so heavily. It's a good reading. Like, I'm not bored or sad that it's so long. It's just I like to, when I have some time to get out, I kind of want to like do several readings, and so if it's one really long one, it's kind of can only do one reading. But it's more of a OCD or numerical problem, not like a spiritual issue. So I definitely don't have any problem with longer readings. First Samuel chapter 20. Then David fled. I don't know what it is. I think I have some like kind of minor speech impediment. I don't like massively stutter, but I just encounter certain words like bleh. It's like I can't even say the word, and it's not always like the weird name. Sometimes it's a common word, but I'm trying different tricks as I'm doing this reading, because I think when I started out I was even worse, then I got better, and now I'm getting worse again. I'm trying different tricks. Like, I sort of try to scan ahead with my eyes on the line that I'm reading so I can prepare for the words I'm about to say, but my brain is so one-tracked that when I do that, I kind of forget what I'm reading at that moment. But if I don't do that, then I'll encounter a surprising word that I'm not ready for, and then I'm like, I can't say it. I haven't figured out a good way to do it. I think the only real way to get better at these readings is to like rehearse them before my live streams and just read them a bunch of times, or at least once through, and so that it is more in my mind and I'll be less surprised by what the words are. But I don't even think that would really work for me. I don't know, my brain is really messed up these days. It's annoying. First Samuel chapter 20. Then David fled from Naioth in Ramah. He came to Jonathan and asked, "What have I done? What is my iniquity? How have I sinned against your father that he wants to take my life?" "Far from it," Jonathan replied. "You will not die. Indeed, my father does nothing, great or small, without telling me. So why would he hide this matter from me? This cannot be true." But David again vowed, "Your father knows very well that I have found favor in your eyes, and he has said, 'Jonathan must not know of this, or he will be grieved.' As surely as the Lord lives, and as you yourself live, there is but a step between me and death." Then Jonathan said to David, "Whatever you desire, I will do for you." So David told him, "Look, tomorrow is the new moon, and I am supposed to dine with the king. Instead, let me go and hide in the field until the 3rd evening from now. If your father misses me at all, tell him, 'David urgently requested my permission to hurry to Bethlehem, his hometown, because there is an annual sacrifice for his whole clan.' If he says, 'Good,' then your servant is safe. But if he is enraged, you will know he has evil intentions. Therefore deal faithfully with your servant, for you have brought me into a covenant with you before the Lord. If there is iniquity in me, then kill me yourself. Why should you bring me to your father?" "Never," Jonathan replied. "If I ever found out that my father had evil intentions against you, would I not tell you?" Then David asked Jonathan, "Who will tell me if your father answers you harshly?" "Come," he replied, "let us go out into the field." "Come," he replied, "let us go out to the field." So the two of them went out into the field. And Jonathan said, "By the Lord, the God of Israel, I will sound out my father by this time tomorrow or the next day. If he is favorable toward you, will I not send for you and tell you? But if my father intends to bring evil on you, then may the Lord punish me, and ever so severely, if I do not tell you and send you on your way in safety. May the Lord be with you, just as he has been with my father. And as long as I live, treat me with the Lord's loving devotion, that I may not die. And do not ever cut off your loving devotion from my household, not even when the Lord cuts off every one of David's enemies from the face of the earth." So Jonathan made a covenant with the house of David, saying, "May the Lord hold David's enemies accountable." And Jonathan had David reaffirm his vow out of love for him, for Jonathan loved David as he loved himself. Then Jonathan said to David, "Tomorrow is the new moon, and you will be missed if your seat is empty. When you have stayed 3 days, hurry down to the place you hid on the day this trouble began, and remain beside the stone Ezel. I will shoot 3 arrows to the side of it, as if I were aiming at a target. Then I will send a boy and say, 'Go find the arrows.' Now if I expressly say to him, 'Look, the arrows are on this side of you, bring them,' then come, because as surely as the Lord lives, it is safe for you and there is no danger. But if I say to the young man, 'Look, the arrows are beyond you,' then you must go, for the Lord has sent you away. And as for the matter you and I have discussed, the Lord is a witness between you and me forever." So David hid in the field, and when the new moon had come, the king sat down to eat. He sat in his usual place by the wall, opposite Jonathan and beside Abner, but David's place was empty. Saul said nothing that day because he thought, "Something has happened to David to make him ceremonially unclean. Surely he is unclean." But on the day after the new moon, the second day, David's place was still empty, and Saul asked his son Jonathan, "Why hasn't the son of Jesse come to the meal either yesterday or today?" Jonathan answered, "David urgently requested my permission to go to Bethlehem, saying, 'Please let me go, because our clan is holding a sacrifice in the city, and my brother has told me to be there. So now, if I have found favor in your eyes, please let me go and see my brothers.' That is why he did not come to the king's table." Then Saul's anger burned against Jonathan, and he said to him, "You son of a perverse and rebellious woman, do I not know that you have chosen the son of Jesse to your own shame and to the disgrace of the mother who bore you? For as long as the son of Jesse lives on this earth, neither you nor your kingship shall be established. Now send for him and bring him to me, for he must surely die." "Why must he be put to death?" Jonathan replied. "What has he done?" Then Saul hurled his spear at Jonathan to kill him. So Jonathan knew that his father was determined to kill David. Jonathan got up from the table in fierce anger and did not eat any food that second day of the month, for he was grieved by his father's shameful treatment of David. In the morning Jonathan went out to the field for the appointment with David, and a small boy was with him. He said to the boy, "Run and find the arrows I shoot." And as the boy ran, Jonathan shot an arrow beyond him. When the boy reached the place where Jonathan's arrow had fallen, Jonathan called to him, "Isn't the arrow beyond you?" Then Jonathan cried out, "Hurry, make haste, do not delay." So the boy picked up the arrow and returned to his master. But the boy did not know anything. Only Jonathan and David knew the arrangement. Then Jonathan gave his equipment to the boy and said, "Go, take it back to the city." When the young man had gone, David got up from the south side of the stone, fell face down, and bowed 3 times. Then he and Jonathan kissed each other and wept together, though David wept more. And Jonathan said to David, "Go in peace, for the 2 of us have sworn in the name of the Lord, saying, 'May the Lord be a witness between you and me, and between your descendants and mine forever.'" Then David got up and departed, and Jonathan went back into the city. All right, I finished the 1 Samuel part, but we still have more chapters to go. Now the sun's in my face, but it's not too hot. I don't really care if it's in my face as long as I don't feel like I'm going to get a massive sunburn. That star reminds me of the more you know kind of symbol. Alright, still got 3 chapters, except that looks like the Psalms aren't too long. The Acts chapter's long, though. As I'm sitting there in silence, I'm thinking of, in programming terms, like, how can I solve that scripture reference thing? I think what I'm maybe going to suggest to Gemini, I don't know if this will work, but I have a list of every possible book of the Bible and every possible abbreviation. So I feel like what I can do is make a list of those in an array or something, and search the beginning. Well, I don't know. No, I guess that wouldn't work. Maybe, yeah. I think you can divide divide the whole string into, like, explode it out into several strings by the delimiters of semicolons and commas, and then each of those should theoretically be a separate passage. And then you can look at the beginning of each of those separated, exploded out strings, see if it matches any of the abbreviations or full length titles of books that you have in an array. Just loop through it real quick, compare them. If it matches, then you know that many characters of the string is the title of a book. So that'll get rid of the complication of some of them having numbers in them. Whatever, it'll fix that. And then anything that follows is some kind of chapter verse reference, and maybe you could just use the regular expression to break that apart. At least that would get rid of one complicated part of the equation, but yeah, maybe it's already doing that. I literally, when I vibe code, I don't even look at what it's doing. I just see if it works. I don't like coding anymore. So, yeah, but anyway, let's get my head out of the clouds, whatever that means. Get back to the reading. Psalm chapter 11. For the choir master of David. In the Lord I take refuge. How then can you say to me, flee like a bird to your mountain? For behold, the wicked bend their bows. They set their arrow on the string to shoot from the shadows at the upright in heart. If the foundations are destroyed, what can the righteous do? The Lord is in his holy temple. The Lord is on his heavenly throne. His eyes are watching closely. They examine the sons of men. The Lord tests the righteous and the wicked. His soul hates the lover of violence. On the wicked he will rain down fiery coals and sulfur. A scorching wind will be their portion. For the Lord is righteous. He loves justice. The upright will see his face. Psalm chapter 59. For the choir master, to the tune of Do Not Destroy, a miktam of David, when Saul sent men to watch David's house in order to kill him. Deliver me from my enemies, O my God. Protect me from those who rise against me. Deliver me from workers of iniquity, and save me from the men of bloodshed. See how they lie in wait for me. Fierce men conspire against me for no transgression or sin of my own, O Lord. For no fault of my own, they move swiftly to attack me. Arise to help me and take notice. O Lord God of hosts, the God of Israel, rouse yourself to punish all the nations. Show no mercy to the wicked traitors. Selah. They return in the evening, snarling like dogs and prowling around the city. See what they spew from their mouths, sharp words from their lips. For who can hear us? But you, O Lord, laugh at them. You scoff at all the nations. I will keep watch for you, O my strength, because you, O God, are my fortress. My God of loving devotion will come to meet me. God will let me stare down my foes. Do not kill them, or my people will forget. Scatter them by your power, and bring them down, O Lord, our shield. By the sins of their mouths and the words of their lips, let them be trapped in their pride, in the curses and lies they utter. Consume them in wrath, consume them till they are no more, so it may be known to the ends of the earth that God rules over Jacob. Selah. They return in the evening, snarling like dogs and prowling around the city. They scavenge for food and growl if they are not satisfied. But I will sing of your strength and proclaim your loving devotion in the morning. For you are my fortress, my refuge in times of trouble. To you, O my strength, I sing praises. For you, O God, are my fortress, my God of loving devotion. I just heard a interaction I didn't see, but like I heard a big buzz and then a chipmunk chirping. So my guess, if I would have seen it, one of those beetles probably flew into a bush that was a little bit too close to the chipmunk and was like, get out of here, it's my place. But I don't know, maybe chipmunks eat beetles, I have no idea. All right, got one more long chapter in Acts, and then I'll be done with this. Well, that might have been a bird, actually. It sounded like a chipmunk to me, but I just saw a tiny bird flying away that was seemingly making that noise. Acts chapter 10. At Caesarea there was a man named Cornelius, a centurion in what was called the Italian regiment. He and all his household were devout and God-fearing. He gave generously to the people and prayed to God regularly. One day at about the 9th hour he had a clear vision of an angel of God who came to him and said, Cornelius. Cornelius stared at him in fear and asked, What is it, Lord? The angel answered, Your prayers and gifts to the poor have ascended as a memorial offering before God. Now send men to Joppa to call for a man named Simon, who is called Peter. He is staying with Simon the tanner, whose house is by the sea. When the angel who spoke to him had gone, Cornelius called 2 of his servants and a devout soldier from among his attendants. He explained what had happened and sent them to Joppa. The next day, at about the 6th hour, as the men were approaching the city on their journey, Peter went up on the roof to pray. He became hungry and wanted something to eat, but while the meal was being prepared, he fell into a trance. He saw heaven open and something like a large sheet being let down to earth by its 4 corners. It contained all kinds of 4-footed animals and reptiles of the earth, as well as birds of the air. Then a voice said to him, "Get up, Peter, kill and eat." "No, Lord," Peter answered, "I have never eaten anything impure or unclean." The voice spoke to him a second time, "Do not call anything impure that God has made clean." This happened 3 times, and all at once the sheet was taken back up into heaven. While Peter was puzzling over the meaning of the vision, the men sent by Cornelius found Simon's house and approached the gate. They called out to ask if Simon, called Peter, was staying there. As Peter continued to reflect on the vision, the Spirit said to him, "Behold, 3 men are looking for you. So get up, go downstairs and accompany them without hesitation, because I have sent them." So Peter went down to the men and said, "Here I am, the one you are looking for. Why have you come?" "Cornelius, the centurion, has sent us," they said. "He is a righteous and God-fearing man with a good reputation among the whole Jewish nation. A holy angel instructed him to request your presence in his home so he could hear a message from you." So Peter invited them in as his guests, and the next day he got ready and went with them, accompanied by some of the brothers from Joppa. The following day he arrived in Caesarea, where Cornelius was expecting them and had called together his relatives and close friends. As Peter was about to enter, Cornelius met him and fell at his feet to worship him. But Peter helped him up. "Stand up," he said. "I am only a man myself." As Peter talked with him, he went inside and found many people gathered together. He said to them, "You know how unlawful it is for a Jew to associate with a foreigner or visit him. But God has shown me that I should not call any man impure or unclean. So when I was invited, I came without objection. I asked then, 'Why have you sent for me?' Cornelius answered, 4 days ago I was in my house praying at this. 4 days ago I was in my house praying at this, the 9th hour. Suddenly a man in radiant clothing stood before me and said, 'Cornelius, your prayer has been heard, and your gifts to the poor have been remembered before God. Therefore send to Joppa for Simon, who is called Peter. He is a guest in the home of Simon the tanner by the sea.' So I sent for you immediately, and you were kind enough to come. Now then, we are all here in the presence of God to listen to everything the Lord has instructed you to tell us." Then Peter began to speak. "I now truly understand that God does not show favoritism, but welcomes those from every nation who fear him and do what is right. He has sent this message to the people of Israel, proclaiming the gospel of peace through Jesus Christ, who is Lord of all. You yourselves know what has happened throughout Judea, beginning in Galilee with the baptism that John proclaimed, how God anointed Jesus of Nazareth with the Holy Spirit and with power, and how Jesus went around doing good and healing all who were oppressed by the devil, because God was with him. We are witnesses of all that he did, both in the land of the Jews and in Jerusalem. And although they put him to death by hanging him on a tree, God raised him up on the 3rd day and caused him to be seen, not by all the people, but by the witnesses God had chosen beforehand, by us who ate and drank with him after he rose from the dead. And he commanded us to preach to the people and to testify that he is the one appointed by God to judge the living and the dead. All the prophets testify about him that everyone who believes in him receives forgiveness of sins through his name. While Peter was still speaking these words, the Holy Spirit fell upon all who heard his message. All the circumcised believers who had accompanied Peter were astounded that the gift of the Holy Spirit had been poured out even on the Gentiles, for they heard them speaking in tongues and exalting God. Then Peter said, "Can anyone withhold the water to baptize these people? They have received the Holy Spirit just as we have." So he ordained that they be baptized in the name of Jesus Christ. Then they asked him to stay for a few days. Oh, yes, it's a good one. Oh. All right. The lighting conditions are not going to be great. There could be, I don't know this hill well enough, but there could be a place where I could look out that way to the sun and maybe see the sunset, but I don't know. I was going to go down to those boulders. That was kind of my plan, but the sun will definitely be blocked from that side. It'll be kind of dark. All right, let's see if this, just out of curiosity, if this next reading works on the script. Yeah, see, that's weird. I don't get it. It's just certain numbers that seem to trigger it. 1 Samuel 21 to 22 works fine, so it just doesn't like the number 20 or something. It's weird. I don't know. I'll have to troubleshoot that, but once again, I will most certainly forget because I don't really care about this stuff. I want it. Basically, I didn't really want to have to make this script, this thing that shows the scriptures on the screen. I just wanted to have it, so I searched pretty far and wide. I'm fairly confident that nothing like this exists. Maybe there's some paid product like a phone app or something that... No, I don't think anything like this exists because the need is very specific. I need like essentially a web page, because the only way to overlay something on IRL Pro, the streaming app I use, is to use a website or a web page. And I couldn't find anything like this, so. But I didn't really want to have to write this code and do all this stuff, so it was kind of annoying. And so when it doesn't work, I'm just like, I mean, it basically works. I can get my way around these little bugs, but I kind of want it to be a little bit more smooth sailing, so I don't have to like worry about it or mess with it. A lot of crows all over the place. I don't know what they're up to, but usually when they're doing those kind of weird flight patterns, it's because there's some intruder like a eagle or a hawk, and they're just trying to scare it off, defending their clan. But I don't see any other. Maybe one of their own kind. One of the crows did something that they didn't like, and they're chasing it down. I don't know, because all I see is a bunch of crows flying around. Okay. Ugh. Oh man, I guess I am a little bit sore from yesterday, but all things considered, how big and sudden of a hike it was. I haven't done the calculation yet, but I think it was probably about 14 miles, somewhere in there, give or take. Could have been up to 15, I don't know. And I haven't really trained on longer hikes this year too much. And honestly, if it was that long and I started like way down at lower elevation, I don't know if I could have done it, especially on my lack of sleep. But because I started this time, I drove up to a higher elevation that made the the initial 5 miles or so pretty easy. So that worked out. Now for the like 15-minute long process of getting all the gear packed up and switched over from my tripod to the gimbal. It's just like, I don't necessarily mind. Like, it would be more fun if I had some viewers and I was chatting with them, and because it's you know, it's not that big of a deal. But since I'm generally just doing the Bible readings and I want to get to another place quickly, this whole process makes it kind of annoying. And there's certain circumstances when I could actually probably not pack it up and just sort of carry it around, but this particular spot, I think where I'm intending to go, I have to do some bushwhacking, which makes it a little bit complicated to carry these kind of weird objects around. So I have to pack it up and then unpack it again, assuming that I have time to do another reading. What was that? I might actually exhaust this location. I was here just a few days ago and I was noticing there's like a ton of different angles that I could live stream, and I marked a bunch of them on the map. But if I do a couple of the better ones, I might be like, oh, that's good enough. And I can also leave these other angles as kind of a backup, like if there's a time when I don't feel like planning anything, but I want to go out and do a reading, I can be like, oh yeah, there's that place I already marked. Makes it a little bit easier. So this is my setup. The reason this kind of sucks, I could solve quite a bit by getting a better tripod stand, something with a little wider feet, even though this is fairly wide, but even wider than this. And maybe even a better selfie stick that goes shorter, but also taller. That would be cool. This one is kind of not ideal because that's as short as it gets. And the reason that's a problem is because I have to put the gimbal on top of this, and because these legs aren't quite wide enough, if I try to put this on unstable ground, especially with my phone on it, it's not very secure, and so I need to get something better. It's worked for a long time, but it's definitely not ideal. Well, good news is I at least don't have to do the stupid umbrella sunshade again, because the sun is down, so that will save me a little bit of trouble. think one thing that could possibly help my social stream experience, because it kind of, I don't know, it has weird bugs or strange behaviors sometimes, and I lose messages or something. I think I could write a script, an intermediate receiving script, because it actually can send messages to a external service or server or whatever as an option. And if I wrote something to receive the messages, I could probably manage them in my own way and possibly gain a little bit of stability, but I don't know. I feel like there's a little bit missing in all the live connection technologies out there, whether it's WebRTC, SSE, WebSockets. I think those are the only three I'm aware of at the moment, but they all have their weird little issues. If you get disconnected, how do you deal with messages that have already been sent but may kind of get lost? It's a little bit complicated. Just like trying to get this gimbal set up. A little bit complicated. Get it once. I would sure like to have a balancing gimbal. That would be pretty cool. I don't know if, well, this one couldn't possibly do it because of the way they connected the stuff, but maybe a different design could. I think I'm pretty sure there's such thing as auto balancing gimbal, so you just like slap your phone on there and it has these motors that kind of move it back and forth until it achieves balance. But yeah, I've never had one like that. I have to kind of move it back and forth. This one's definitely better than my other one though. Like my first gimbal was way more annoying. I had to balance it in 3 different axes or axes, and it was very frustrating. So I can't complain when I have that. When I've had that past experience and I have this upgrade, it's definitely better than it was. Currently I have my eyes set on 2 possibilities, and I don't remember the model names except one of them is the Insta360 Flow 2 Pro, I think, something like that. It's the latest version of the Insta360 gimbal. That one's pretty cool looking, and there's another one that's similar, and I can't remember what it is. Might be a DJI or something, I don't remember. But both of them are pretty equivalent. They have AI tracking built in with a separate actual camera in the gimbal so that it can work no matter which app that you're using, which is super cool. That's the main reason I want to get one of those, because it'd be nice I could just like sit it down anywhere and push the button or whatever, and it would just automatically track me wherever I'm walking around. That would be awesome. But I don't really like to just upgrade gear just to have the latest gadget. Usually unless I'm like in a really unwise mood, kind of impulse buy, which I think I've kind of cured myself mostly from that recently just because I don't have any money. But yeah, unless I'm in one of those moods, I don't buy things just to have the latest gadget. I try to wait till my current gear wears out, or I have like a lot of money, excess savings or something, so I feel like it's not quite as stupid to spend money. Okay. So I'm going to try to find one more location to read before it gets dark. And assuming that the reading isn't too long, or some other unknown factor or circumstance. But I don't think I'm going to try to catch the sunset because pretty sure, well, I could check real quick, but I don't think there's like a very obvious or good place within walking distance that I could look that direction. Okay, let me check my map real quick, because if there is, I wouldn't mind going there just for a couple of reasons. It generally looks better to have some light source on the scene. And of course, seeing the sunset is nice. But, I don't know. I guess I could walk that direction just in case there is something, but I looking at the map, I don't feel particularly confident that there is. So I could just be wasting time doing that. I don't know. I also don't know really what the signal reliability is over that direction, because I don't know if I've been over there. I mean, I think I've been there before years ago, but I don't have a strong memory of what it was like. All right, say goodbye to the tree. It's pretty cool looking. I don't think I left anything. There is an opening over here that I see now. Could go see what that is. I don't think it's definitely not the right direction to see the sunset, but could be even another place to live stream that could be interesting. There's sort of like this old logging road almost provides an opening to the horizon, but there's all those trees over there, so I wouldn't be able to see the sunset from here. I could just come over here though, and instead of trying to find that angle, I could actually, I mean, even just like right here is cool because it has all the glowing bushes, but that's not going to last. The sun will go down and then it'll just be shadows. And over here is all pretty much shadow. I think I'll go with my original plan. I was going to go back to these boulders that I found last time. And while it'll be like in the shadows, so not nearly as cool as it could be. I don't know, we'll see. I have mixed feelings. As I'm saying that, I'm like, well, that kind of wastes the opportunity to get the optimum lighting conditions for that particular spot, and so I could just come back another day when I am able to get out earlier. I've got a lot of sticky things in my pokey things in my pockets. Yeah, so there's all these boulders over here, and there's a lot of them. Like an earlier time in the day, this would all be lit up and probably look more interesting. I don't know. I could just also like be satisfied with doing one reading, and just head back. That's not a bad way to go. It was a long reading too, so that was part of it. Like I even though I got kind of a late start, I felt like I had enough time to do 2 or 3 readings, but because that one was so long, that kind of changed my idea. It's like, oh, okay, never mind. Maybe just one today. Okay, let's do an experiment. This will be the last ditch effort to get one more reading in. I'm gonna go this direction. I have no idea what I'm gonna find. Honestly, this is a cool angle right here, just with all these glowing trees. But like I said, that's not gonna last very long. So by the time I get all set up and start reading, that short window of time will pass. So I would like to do that angle, but I don't think I have enough time. So we'll just head this way. And if I see like an opening toward the sun somewhere, and I can do one last reading, and if not, then at least I got a little bit of a hike in. I figured out what options there are, and that'll be good. Oh, so stupid. Really strong to 0. Like, understand. I wish all the platforms had a way to replace a video. Like, instead of deleting it and re-uploading it, which feels lame. I wish you could just like replace it with a better source. It's garbage. It's dying. Like, it's jumping from 11 megabits to 0, 11, 0, 11, 0, 11, 0. Oh, it's so stupid. I hate it. So that might be the limiting today. It's just the stupid cell technology or whatever causes that. That may have been happening earlier too, and I just didn't notice it. Okay. That's so bad. It's literally every 1 second jumping from 0 to extremely high. Unless that's just like a statistical error. When I stop, it goes steady, but as soon as I move, it's like 0, 11, 0, 11, 0, 11. I wonder if I walk slower or what. I'm pretty sure as soon as I start moving, it's going to be jumping up and down. All of these are really good angles, to be honest. Even though they're not like wide open views. Speaking of wide open views, there's one over there. But it's not toward the sun. Like, just these like bushes and stuff is cool. If you got it at just the right time, like maybe half hour ago, the sun was about to go down, that would look awesome. But that last reading took too long. Took away my options. Anyway, the frustrating thing about what I was talking about before, that I can't replace a video like on YouTube or Rumble, as far as I'm aware. I have a local recording when I'm recording IRL Pro, a local MP4, and the live stream being broadcast. So technically, I could replace the videos with a higher quality recording after the fact, but I don't think there's a way to do that. The only platform that I can kind of achieve that is Odyssey, because Odyssey is so garbage for live streaming that I don't even try to live stream there anymore for the most part. It's absolutely terrible. But what that means is I upload the videos later in full quality, and I could do that with YouTube and Rumble too, but I kind of like live streaming. So anyway, it's not looking promising to me at all as far as finding a good viewpoint that I can see the sun set. It's just trees after trees after trees. So I think this will be a bust, but I don't mind. I just like exploring and hiking, so even if I don't get to do another reading, at least I've kind of walked around, got some exercise. I'm gonna keep following these ancient logging roads just to see if there's any opportunities. But spending so much time searching for a spot that I think my window of opportunity is kind of fading. Another thing I've wondered about, I'm thinking about right now, is I wonder if there's like a small USB-C connecting antenna of some kind for cell phones that enhances the reception of 4G stuff, G whatever. This right here is awesome. Like that looks amazing, but I think I have about 10 minutes or 15 minutes before the sun just goes down, and then you don't even see any of these glowing bushes. But had I come beeline directly straight over here and set up immediately, I probably could have finished a reading, but yeah, I don't have much time. It's not quite time for sunset, but because the sun is positioned behind that hill over there, I think you have about 10 minutes, maybe even less. It's just barely above those trees. So, I don't know, I think I'll give up. Like, if I was a little bit faster, if I didn't dilly-dally, I probably could have made it in time, but I think it's a little bit too late. I think actually direction I'm probably causing this perspective to shift behind those trees even more. So it's not really helping. I don't know. I mean, I could just find a spot that doesn't really matter if there's a good lighting. It's just good enough, you know. Like just right here, you know, just do a reading right here. It's not very interesting, but I don't know. I'm okay with it. I'm satisfied enough. I did something. I didn't do as much as I'd hoped, but that's all right. Yeah, this is just like an endless thing. I feel like I've been walking long enough that I should have reached kind of the edge of this butte. I think it kind of gradually fades out on this side, so it probably won't have a abrupt drop-off area. It's more the other side of it that is like a more traditional mountain type landscape. So, yeah, I could do a reading like just by this tree stump or something, but I don't know. I think I'm probably just gonna call it good. I made an effort and didn't pan out. Yeah, see, like it was even less than 10 minutes. The sun's already down behind that mountain over there, so I missed the opportunity. Probably if I would have had to have done this like an hour ago, really, realistically, because it takes usually about between around 30 minutes, just average, to do a reading. So I needed like a full hour to get away from that last place, find a new place, get set up, and then go at a fairly quick pace to finish before the sun goes down. So yeah, we'll give up. I could do a dark landscape reading, but I don't really feel like it. I think I would if here's the catch-22. I walked away from those boulders thinking I could maybe catch the sunset, but in so doing I walked away from the area that might have looked the coolest without a sunset. So now I'm just left with kind of random rubble on the ground. It still has its own charm. I wouldn't be against reading in a place like this, but like just that, that looks nice. You can usually find cool stuff even in the what you might perceive to be not so interesting. But I kind of need to go to the bathroom too, so that's part of my mental process. I'm thinking like, I need to end this so I can go to the bathroom. So I'll just make this a wandering stream. Did one reading, the rest is just like walking around randomly without any resolution. Well, hopefully there's resolution. As long as it's at least 1 by 1 resolution, or 2 by 2. Might not be 1920 by 1080, but do some pixel art streams. I guess what I meant by resolution is no payoff, no result of all my wanderings. Yeah, I think I'll just head out. I mean, I'll keep this going as long as the signal holds out, but as far as like doing another Bible reading, I think I've decided I'm just gonna finish up. I think I have like maybe like 100 bytes memory. I don't know, it's something that bad. It's pretty bad. Definitely not like 255 kilobytes. I don't know, 10 or 20 words. If I do the pausing thing, I'm sure, I don't know if people have noticed this, but if you watch my streams, I'll just like cut, like pause in between sentences, kind of like Captain Kirk. It's because I don't know what I'm about to say. I have to think about it for just a second. I wonder if that's common. I actually kind of am amazed that people that just can speak fluidly without any pauses, saying or anything like that, because I just feel like the human brain is almost incapable of such things. And I think part of it is I have tried to reduce the number of times I say or whatever. And so there, I did it. But bad illustration there. I probably say it all the time, but the point is I'd rather have a slight pause and think about what words I'm about to say than just be like That just sounds silly. Signal is breaking up, so it's stuttering just like I do. I think I'll just end it here. We had a good run, did the best I could, so I'm gonna head out. Thanks for joining me. I will catch you next time.